27 minutes past 6 on the Friday Night Lounge, and it's time to speak to one of the organisers that was part of the Aberdour Festival Committee. She was involved in organising a hot ticket event, actually, included with bands including Stanley, Run Lucky Free, Streetlight, Frontrunner, just to name a few. And this was Bands by the Sands that happened last Tuesday at the Marquee stand near the Silver Sands Beach. And I was speaking to Jayne Willis about the Bands by the Sands on Wednesday afternoon, and I began by asking her, how did the Bands by the Sands idea come about?
We bands nights at the festival annually, and I had no part to do with that, but they've mainly been for younger people. But I was suggesting at the Aberdour Festival committees that there's nothing really targeted for like 17, 18-year-olds, well, 16, 17s, because they're kind of stuck in the middle.
Well, as long as you've cornered your target market, basically, then that's not too much of a problem. But what really intrigues me is the choice of location for this. This was the Marquee Stands. Now, Bands by the Sands. It wasn't quite near the Sands, was it?
No, but we thought we'd play with the name. But yeah, you could have wandered off to Silver Sands, although it wasn't the best of days. But it was just really nice in the Marquee, I think. It was a nice setting.
And why did you choose to do the Marquee stand rather than doing it actually on the Silver Sands Beach?
Well, it was already set up, so it wouldn't have cost us too much extra. And just the fact that it could have rained and that would have put a lot of people off, and the instruments and everything, we wanted the bands to be happy, like not getting damaged or anything.
I see. Well, you got to keep the bands happy, I suppose. And I suppose with the night that I actually came on, it looked a little questionable whether it was whether a lot of people were going to go ahead with it.
Yeah, a lot of the bands came a lot later and everything because the times were a bit mucked up, but it was all fine in the end.
As long as the end result's great, I suppose that's the main thing. But just give us for those who have not been to the Bands by the Sands, just tell us what the format of the night was.
First of all, we had Frontrunner, who were my personal friends, and they were really good. But because the time messed up on the poster, we had to have Stanley play a little bit beforehand, but we only let them on for 5-10 minutes. And then Frontrunner played, and then Streetlight, who are also my friends, and they're really good. They did a bit of acoustic, and also they had their band, which was their first time. Mm-hmm. Then we had Clark and Bodge, who were two guys who played acoustically, who were really good. And then we stepped up. We had Stanley and State of Emergency, who were amazing. But we also had to incorporate, the day before, I was asked to incorporate another band called Run Lucky Free, who were also really good because they had a female singer, which gave variety to the night. But for next time, I think we'd cut it down a bit because the licence had been bought only for 11, so the bar shut at 11, so a lot of people lost interest at that point and wanted to head off to the pubs.
Well, I suppose if there's drinks going away, then you would lose interest. So it's the only way to get them in. But how did you get Run Lucky Free and Stanley involved? Because they're quite big unsigned bands, aren't they?
Yeah, Stanley's manager, Steve Amos, who helped me a lot with the publicity and everything, he approached me, and so I listened to them online, and I thought they were really good. So I contacted them through Steve, and with Run Lucky Free, they helped a lot with the sound engineering. Mm-hmm. So I was given their contact details, so I phoned them, and we worked out a time slot for them and squeezed them in. All the bands were good. They were just so different, so everybody had something they liked, and then some people probably disliked some other bands. But
were you just trying to cover as many genres as possible then?
Yeah, I thought we'd give it a bit of variety and just keep it interesting for everyone, because a lot of people are put off bands nights thinking they're too punky for them or something. But because there was acoustic and everything, it was just like really good. And at the end, everyone was dancing to State of Emergency.
Uh-huh.
So it was a good atmosphere.
It was a good atmosphere. And there was also cover bands as well as unsigned ones, weren't they?
Well, they all did a few covers. Runner did a few covers, which were good. And State of Emergency did a lot of covers, but it kept the crowds going. I was really happy with them because a lot of people had gone by that time. Yeah, overall, I'm quite chuffed with it. We made a profit because a lot of people attended. It all just at the door because not many people had purchased tickets beforehand, so it was a bit worrying. You never really know, but because it was publicised reasonably well, we contacted the radio and things. A lot of people did attend.
And I suppose with the weather, as I said earlier on, the weather didn't exactly help matters either.
No, it did kind of clear up, but it probably would have helped if it was a nicer day.
But how many people actually turned up on the night then?
I think it was around 200. I never actually got to find that one out, but we did cover our costs, so we did have about 100.
Oh, I see, right. So wasn't the target about 90, so you really exceeded your target then?
We did, yeah. Oh, that was before the new band was incorporated, though, because we had to take in account their money as well. But we were aiming for like around 100, and that's how many people said they would attend on Facebook. But I'm pretty sure we doubled that.
Oh, that's pretty good then. That's actually fantastic. So as long as you make a profit and you cover your costs, then that's all that really matters, really.
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to be having help from funding, but they didn't contact us back in time.
Uh-huh.
So we didn't have any help, so that was a bit worrying. But through ticket costs alone, we were okay.
But you managed to pull it off.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Now, you do a college course at Adam Smith. You do an HND in events management. So how does this tie in with your course?
Well, that was the reason I helped out with the Aberdour Festival in the first place, because I'm doing a work experience part of the course. So we had to do a certain amount of hours and then we just had to prove that we'd helped out in an event. And I knew Kate Brown from Aberdour, who always helps out with the Aberdour Festival. So I contacted her, and she said that I could help out with the bands night. But due to personal issues, Kate couldn't really help with the bands night towards the end. So it was all left on my shoulders, so I was a bit worried. But I had loads of help from Steve Amos and Roy Devon and things, so it was okay.
So you were kind of almost chucked in the deep end, as it were.
Yeah, well, I'd never arranged anything like that before, and a band's night as well. I don't really know all the technical terms or the sound engineering terms and things, so...
So it was basically a big learning curve then?
It was, yeah. I've experienced a lot. I've learnt a lot from this, so it's definitely helped me with my course.
What have you exactly learnt from doing Bands by the Sands?
Just to be organised. The budget's really important. Trying to keep all the bands happy was probably the most difficult bit, because nobody wants to go first. Nobody wants a shorter time slot. A lot of bands couldn't make it for the sound check, which made it difficult and stressful. You've got to make sure that all the licenses are up to date, and well, the bar was a big problem. I would have ensured that that didn't stop at 11, because that was our main problem. The alcohol, basically.
Basically, but so there was lots and lots of factors involved in events management. But give us an idea in general how complicated events management is, because it's not as easy as you think it is.
No, a lot of people think, why would you need an events manager? Because they can organise events themselves. But it is really difficult. You do have to be really organised. I had to email loads of band managers and try and contact everyone and try and bargain a price and everything. So you do have to be on your toes, and you have to remember everything, write everything down, because if you lose any information, it can't be good. There's loads of things to it. It's stressful. The thing is, from a past little organised events that I've done, when I've organised it too early, people forget about it, especially with Facebook and things. So you've got to do it kind of reasonably close. because they'll say they'll attend, like on Facebook, a couple of months beforehand, and they'll forget all about it by the time it actually comes. So you've just got to keep annoying people, reminding them.
Yeah, be in their faces, basically. Oh, we do that all the time here at Radio West Fife, basically.
Yeah.
But, so, if you're better organised next year, would you be willing to do Bands by the Sands again next year for next year's festival?
Yeah, I would be. I don't know if I'll be wanted again, hopefully, yeah.
But hopefully you can return in some form of capacity.
Yeah, definitely. But it is worth it at the end of the day. When you do make a success, you're proud of yourself.
Exactly. So, well, Jayne, thanks very much for coming on to Radio West Fife to talk about that with us. And
thank you for having me.
Not at all. So that was Jayne Willis, the organiser for Bands by the Sands. And she was speaking to me on Wednesday afternoon here at Radio West Fife on the phone. So thank you very much, Jayne, for coming onto the programme to speak about Bands by the Sands.